If I fix your bike, can you let me stay? 12 words. That's all it took to freeze every man in Iron Phoenix garage, because the voice didn't belong to a customer. Didn't belong to anyone they expected. It belonged to a 10-year-old black girl standing in the doorway with grease-stained hands and nothing left to lose. No parents, no home, no backup plan, just a dead grandmother's toolbox and 48 hours to prove she deserved to exist. They laughed at first, then they saw what she could do. And everything changed. Before we go any further, if stories about family redemption and fighting for where you belong hit you right in the heart, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Comment below with what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this little girl's story can travel. Now let's begin. The door swung open at 5:47 p.m. Maya Thompson stepped inside and immediately felt 12 eyes turned toward her. 6 men, 6 different reactions, none of them welcoming. She didn't care. "Garage is closed." The big one spoke first. Silver dreads, arms like tree trunks, voice like gravel. "Sign says 6. Maya held his gaze. "I got 13 minutes. "You got 0 minutes. He stood up, all 6'4" of him. "This ain't a place for kids. I'm not here to play." "Then what are you here for?" "I'm looking for Marcus King." The name dropped like a grenade. 2 men exchanged looks. One reached for his phone. The big one, Stone, she'd learn later, went completely still. A voice came from the back. Tired. Annoyed. "Who's asking?" Maya turned toward it. A man in his late 50s emerged from behind a lifted Sportster. Salt and pepper beard. Eyes that had seen everything and trusted nothing. Someone with a deal. "I don't make deals with children." "Then you're about to miss out." Marcus stopped walking. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe, or recognition of something he hadn't seen in a long time. "You got 60 seconds. Talk." Maya reached into her jacket. Every man in the room tensed. She pulled out a photograph and held it up. "You knew my grandmother, Eleanor Thompson." The room went dead silent. Marcus didn't move, didn't blink, just stared at the photo like it might bite him. "Where did you get that?" "She gave it to me. Before she died." "Ellie's dead." 3 weeks ago. Heart attack." Marcus's jaw tightened. He took the photograph, looked at it for a long moment, then looked back at Maya. "I'm sorry for your loss, but I still don't see what you want from me." "I want to finish her bike." "Her bike's been dead for 6 years. So bring it back to life." Stone laughed. "Not mean, just tired. Kid, that shovelhead is a pile of rust. 3 professional mechanics gave up on it. They weren't me. You're 10 years old, and I've been rebuilding engines since I was 6. Maya walked past all of them toward the corner where a dust-covered shape sat beneath a tarp. "My grandmother taught me everything she knew. Said I had better hands than any mechanic she'd ever trained." Ellie said a lot of things. She was usually right. Maya grabbed the tarp and pulled. The bike underneath was a disaster. Rust, corrosion, years of neglect. But Maya looked at it like it was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. 1975 Harley-Davidson shovelhead, 74 cubic inch, 4-speed. She crouched beside it, running her hand along the frame. "The engine's not seized, it's the primary chain. Wrong oil weight ate through the tensioner. Compensators damaged. Push rods are bent from thermal stress." She pointed to an oil stain on the concrete. "Rocker box leak. And the fuel system's completely varnished because nobody drained it before storage." Stone moved closer. His expression had changed. "How do you know all that?" "I told you, she taught me." "Nobody taught you that. You diagnosed it in 30 seconds. 45. Maya stood up. "And I can fix it. All of it. If you give me a chance." Marcus crossed his arms. "Why should I?" "Because CPS is coming Friday. They want to ship me to Phoenix. Group home. 200 miles from here." Her voice cracked just slightly. 200 miles from her grave. That's not my problem. You're right. It's not. Maya met his eyes. But my grandmother talked about you. Said you were the only man she ever trusted with her life. Said if anything happened to her, I should find you. She said that. She said a lot of things. She was usually right. Silence stretched between them. Marcus looked at the bike, at the girl, at the photograph still in his hand. 48 hours. Stone's head snapped toward him. Marcus? 48 hours. You get that bike running, we'll talk about what comes next. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Marcus's voice hardened. You don't leave this property. You don't touch anything except that bike. You don't steal. You don't lie. And if you cause any trouble at all, I call the cops myself. I understand. Do you? Yes, sir. Then stop talking and start working. Maya didn't need to be told twice. She pulled off her backpack, heavy clinking with metal, and knelt beside the shovel head. Marcus walked away. Stone followed him. You want to tell me what the hell just happened? Not particularly. That's Ellie's granddaughter. I know. Ellie who left 20 years ago. Ellie who you never got over. That Ellie. Marcus stopped walking. His voice dropped low. What do you want me to say, Stone? That I should have turned her away. Let her get shipped off to some group home in Phoenix. I want you to say you know what you're doing, because right now it looks like you're making decisions with something other than your head. Maybe I am. Marcus looked back at Maya, who was already pulling tools from her bag. But that kid just diagnosed a dead engine in less than a minute. Whatever Ellie taught her, it stuck. And if she can't fix it, then I'll make some calls. Find her a better placement. Since when do you care about foster kids? Marcus didn't answer. He walked into his office and shut the door. Stone stood there for a long moment watching the girl work. Then he grabbed a coffee and took up position where he could see everything. Maya worked through the first hour like the clock was her enemy. She'd pulled the primary cover off by 6:30, had the chain out by 7. By 8 o'clock, the compensator lay in pieces on a clean shop rag, each component arranged in perfect order. The other mechanics had left one by one, casting curious glances but asking no questions. Only Stone remained pretending to do paperwork while watching her every move. At 9, he brought her a sandwich. You need to eat. I'll eat when I'm done. You'll pass out before you're done. He set the food beside her. Trust me. I've seen it happen. Maya's hands paused. She looked at the sandwich, then at Stone. Why are you being nice to me? I'm not being nice. I'm being practical. Dead kids don't fix motorcycles. I'm not going to die. Not on my watch, you're not. He lowered himself onto an overturned bucket. Eat. I'll watch your parts. Maya took a bite, then another. She hadn't realized how hungry she was until the food hit her stomach. Can I ask you something? Depends on what it is. My grandmother. What was she like back when she was here? Stone leaned back, his eyes going distant. Fierce. That's the first word. Your grandmother didn't take anything from anyone. Men in this club tried to run her off, said a woman didn't belong, especially not a black woman. And she just looked at them and kept showing up, kept doing the work, kept being better than they were. Did they accept her eventually? Some did, some didn't. Didn't matter to Ellie. She wasn't here for their approval. Then why was she here? Stone was quiet for a moment. She was here for Marcus. Maya stopped chewing. What do you mean? Those two were complicated, rode together for 6 years, built half this club together. Then one day she just left. No explanation, no goodbye. She never told me that. Probably had her reasons. Maya looked toward Marcus's office. The light was still on behind the frosted glass. Were they together? Like together? That's not my story to tell. Stone stood up. Finish your food. You've got a long night ahead. He walked away before she could ask anything else. Maya sat there in the quiet garage, sandwich in one hand, wrench in the other, wondering what else her grandmother had never told her. Midnight came fast. Maya had moved to the electrical system. The wiring harness was a disaster, chewed by mice, corroded by time, held together by nothing but hope and duct tape. She was tracing a short in the ignition circuit when the garage door banged open. A man stormed in. Tall, angry, leather vest with patches she didn't recognize. "Where is she?" Stone rose from his corner. "Diesel, calm down." "Don't tell me to calm down." Diesel spotted Maya and strode toward her. "This the kid. This the stray Marcus is letting squat in our garage." Maya didn't stand up, didn't back away, just kept working. "I'm not a stray. You're a liability." Diesel loomed over her. "You know what happens if you get hurt in here: lawsuits, investigations. We lose everything." "I won't get hurt. You're 10 years old playing with power tools in a motorcycle garage at midnight. Something's going to happen. Then it'll be my fault, not yours. That's not how lawyers see it." Marcus's office door opened. He stepped out, face unreadable. "Diesel, outside, now." "Marcus, you can't be serious about this." "I said outside." The two men stared at each other. Something passed between them. History, bad blood, Maya couldn't tell. Diesel turned and walked out. Marcus followed. Through the window, Maya watched them argue. Couldn't hear the words, but she could see the body language. Diesel pointing at the garage, Marcus shaking his head, Diesel getting in his face. Then Marcus said something that made Diesel go still. A moment later, Diesel walked to his bike, kicked it to life, and roared off into the darkness. Marcus came back inside. His face was tight. "Don't mind him." "What did you say to him?" "Nothing you need to worry about. He really doesn't want me here. Diesel doesn't want anyone here. It's not personal." Maya went back to work, but something was nagging at her. "Marcus?" "Yeah." "Why did my grandmother really leave?" He stopped. His back was to her, so she couldn't see his face. "That's a long story. I've got 43 hours. Some stories aren't meant to be told in 43 hours. He walked back to his office. The door closed with a soft click. Maya stared after him for a long moment. Then she went back to the wiring harness. 4 in the morning. Maya's hands were raw, 2 nails cracked, eyes burning from exhaustion. But she'd done it. The entire electrical system rewired from scratch. Every connection clean. Every ground solid. She was about to test it when she noticed something. The fuel tank. It sat slightly crooked on the frame, not much barely visible, but wrong. Maya ran her hands along the metal, feeling for what her eyes couldn't see. There. A seam that shouldn't exist. She grabbed a flathead screwdriver and carefully pried at the edge. A panel popped open. Hidden. Welded into place decades ago. Inside was a waterproof pouch. Maya's heart hammered as she opened it. Photographs spilled out. Dozens of them. Her grandmother, young and fierce, leading, rides through desert highways. Marcus and Stone and others laughing at cameras. And letters. Handwritten. Tied with a faded ribbon. The top envelope was addressed to her. "My dearest Maya." Her grandmother's handwriting. Shaky. Written by someone running out of time. "If you're reading this, it means I'm gone and you found your way to Iron Phoenix. I'm so proud of you, baby girl. You're exactly where you need to be. But before you go any further, you need to know the truth. I didn't leave this club because I wanted to. I left because I had to. Because I found out something that put everyone I loved in danger. Your mother knew. That's why she died. It wasn't an accident, Maya. It was never an accident. The man responsible is still here, still wearing his patch, still pretending to be family. I don't know who you can trust. Maybe Marcus. Maybe no one. But I know you're smart. I know you're strong. And I know you'll figure out what I couldn't. Find the second letter. It's hidden where the heart beats. I love you more than engines, more than motorcycles, more than the road ever called me. Finish what I started. Not just the bike. Everything. Grandma E. Maya read it 3 times. Her hands were shaking so hard she could barely hold the paper. Her mother didn't die in an accident. Her grandmother hid letters in a motorcycle and waited 20 years for Maya to find them. Someone in this club killed her mother, and Maya was alone in their garage at 4 in the morning. She looked up. Stone was watching her from across the room. You find something interesting. Maya's blood went cold. Just old pictures. Mind if I take a look? He was already walking toward her, slowly, casually, but something in his eyes had changed. Maya shoved the letters back in the pouch in her jacket. They're personal. Your grandmother didn't keep personal things in that bike. How do you know what she kept? Stone stopped, 3 feet away, close enough to grab her. Because I helped her build that compartment, 23 years ago. She told me it was for emergencies. Then you know what's in it? No. His voice was strange. Careful. She never told me, never told anyone. They stared at each other. You should get some sleep, Stone said finally. You've been working for 10 hours straight. I'm fine. You're shaking. I'm cold. It's 70 degrees in here. Maya's heart was pounding so loud she was sure he could hear it. I'm going to keep working. Stone studied her for a long moment. Something flickered behind his eyes. Concerned suspicion she couldn't tell. Suit yourself. He walked back to his corner, sat down, didn't look away. Maya turned back to the bike. Her grandmother's words echoed in her skull. The man responsible is still here, still wearing his patch. Stone was there 23 years ago. Stone knew about the hidden compartment. Stone was watching her right now. Maya's hands found the wrench, gripped it tight. 39 hours left, and she suddenly realized that fixing this bike might be the least dangerous thing she had to do. Dawn broke gray and heavy. Maya hadn't slept, couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw her grandmother's letter. It wasn't an accident. She worked through the fear, channeling it into the engine. Pistons out, cylinders inspected, bearings checked and rechecked. At 7, the door opened. A woman walked in. Late 20s, sharp eyes, professional clothes that didn't belong in a garage. You're Maya. Who's asking? Vera Santos. I'm a law student. I handle legal issues for the club. She sat down across from Maya without asking permission. Marcus called me last night. Told me about your situation. Did he tell you he's keeping me prisoner? Vera's eyebrow rose. He said he's giving you a chance. Same thing, different words. Fair enough. Vera pulled out a folder. Let's talk about Friday. CPS has a placement ready for you in Phoenix. Group home. You know what that means. I know exactly what it means. Then you know running away isn't a solution. They'll find you. Send you anyway. Maybe somewhere worse. So what am I supposed to do? Just give up? No. Vera leaned forward. You're supposed to let me help. Maya stopped working. Help how? Emergency kinship placement. If we can establish that you have a stable living situation with adults who have ties to your family, we might be able to block the Phoenix transfer. Marcus barely knows me. But he knew your grandmother, and he's a licensed foster parent. Marcus, a foster parent. Was, years ago. His certification expired, but we can petition for emergency renewal. Vera's voice softened. I'm not saying this is guaranteed. Judge has to approve it. CPS has to agree. But it's possible. Maya looked at her grandmother's bike, at the tools spread around her, at the letters hidden in her jacket. Why would Marcus do that? Why would he take in some kid he doesn't know? That's between you and him. Vera stood. But I'd suggest you ask him. Before Friday. She left a business card on the workbench and walked out. Maya stared at the card for a long time. Then she heard footsteps behind her. You were listening. She didn't turn around. I own the building, Marcus said. I listen to everything. Is it true you were a foster parent? A long time ago? What happened? Silence. Marcus, what happened? I had a kid, 16 years old, angry at the world, reminded me of myself at that age. His voice was flat, careful. I thought I could help him, thought I could give him what I never had. And I was wrong. He ran away, got into some bad stuff, ended up dead in a ditch outside Tucson. Maya turned around. Marcus stood in the doorway, backlit by the morning sun. His face was in shadow. I haven't fostered since. Figured I wasn't cut out for it. But you're considering it now, for me. I'm considering a lot of things. Why? Because you're Ellie's granddaughter, and I owe her. What do you owe her? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Your grandmother saved my life. Literally, 22 years ago. I was drinking myself to death after my wife left. Ellie found me passed out in this garage with a gun in my hand. Maya's breath caught. She didn't call anyone, didn't preach at me, just sat with me all night. Talked about motorcycles, about the road, about how the only way out was through. He stepped closer. The light caught his face. His eyes were wet. I never got to thank her properly. Never got to tell her what that night meant to me. And now she's gone, and her granddaughter is standing in my garage asking for help and... He stopped, swallowed hard. I'm not good at this, Maya. I don't know how to be what you need. But I owe Ellie everything. And if there's a chance I can pay that back by helping you, I'm going to try. Maya felt something crack inside her chest. Something she'd been holding together through sheer force of will. My grandmother left me a letter. Marcus went still. What kind of letter? The kind that says my mother didn't die in an accident. The color drained from his face. Maya. The kind that says someone in this club killed her. Where is this letter? Somewhere safe. Maya, I need to see it. Why? So you can destroy it. So I can help you. How do I know you're not the one she was warning me about? Marcus flinched like she'd hit him. Because I loved your grandmother, and I loved your mother. Sarah was like a daughter to me. Then who killed her? I don't know. His voice broke. I swear to God I don't know. Ellie never told me. She just left. One day she was here, the next she was gone. No explanation. No goodbye. Maybe she didn't trust you. Maybe she didn't trust anyone. Marcus stepped closer. But she trusted you. She left you that letter. She wanted you to find the truth. And what if the truth gets me killed? Then I'll make sure it doesn't. They stared at each other. 10-year-old girl and 58-year-old man. Strangers bound by a ghost. 36 hours, Maya said finally. I finish this bike. Then we talk about the letter. And until then, I don't trust anyone. Marcus nodded slowly. Fair enough. He turned and walked away. Maya watched him go. Then she looked at the shovelhead, her grandmother's bike, her grandmother's secrets, her grandmother's unfinished business. 36 hours to bring an engine back to life, and maybe, just maybe, to find out who took her mother's. She picked up her wrench and got back to work. The morning passed in a blur of metal and sweat. Maya had the cylinders honed by noon, new bearings installed by 2. She was working on the timing gear when Stone appeared beside her. You're faster than I expected. I don't have time to be slow. Fair enough. He crouched down, watching her work. That letter you found, you want to talk about it? No. You sure? Because you've been looking at me like I might murder you all morning. Maya's hands stopped. I don't know who to trust. Smart girl. Stone picked up a socket wrench, turned it over in his hands. Your grandmother was the same way. Took her 2 years to trust me. Even then, she never told me everything. What did she tell you? That she had secrets that could get people killed. That when the time was right, someone would come looking for answers. He met her eyes. I always figured it would be Sarah. Never thought it would be you. Sarah's dead. I know. Do you know how— Stone was quiet for a long moment. Fire. That's what they told us. Fuel line leak while she was working on a bike. Whole garage went up. That's what they told you. What do you think happened? I think your grandmother knew something she shouldn't have. I think she told Sarah. And I think someone wanted to make sure that secret died with them. Who? I don't know, but I've had my suspicions for 20 years. Maya's heart was pounding. Tell me. Stone looked around the garage, checking that they were alone. There's a man, used to ride with us back in the day. Left about a year after your grandmother did. Word was, he got into some bad business, government contracts, black market stuff, the kind of thing that makes people disappear. What's his name? Patterson. Raymond Patterson. Maya went cold. Patterson, as in— Yeah. Stone's voice dropped. As in the CPS supervisor who's trying to ship you to Phoenix. That's not possible. It's not a coincidence either. Maya's mind was racing. Patterson, the man who'd shown up at her grandmother's house the day after she died. The man who'd insisted Maya be placed as far away as possible. The man who— He knew, she whispered. He knew I'd come here. He knew I'd find the letter. Which means he knows what's in it. Which means— A phone rang. Marcus's voice echoed from the office, loud, angry. You can't do that. The hearing isn't until— Silence. That's not what we agreed. You said Friday. More silence. Listen to me, you son of a— The office door slammed open. Marcus stormed out, face red with fury. Maya, grab your things. What's happening? CPS moved up the hearing. They're coming tonight. Maya's blood turned to ice. Tonight? But I have 36 hours. You said— I said a lot of things. Doesn't matter now. Marcus grabbed his keys. Patterson pushed the timeline, got a judge to sign an emergency order. He can't do that. He just did. Marcus looked at her. Really looked at her. Someone told him you found something. Someone in this garage. Maya looked at Stone. Stone looked back. Neither of them blinked. We've got 6 hours, Marcus said. Maybe less. If you want to finish that bike, you better work fast. And if I don't finish, then you're going to Phoenix, and whatever secrets your grandmother left you, they go with you. Maya turned to the shovelhead. 6 hours. Half an engine still apart. A dead woman's secrets in her pocket. And somewhere out there, a man who'd killed her mother coming to collect her. She grabbed her wrench. Then I better stop talking. 6 hours. Maya's hands moved faster than they ever had. Timing gear aligned, gaskets seated, every bolt torqued to spec while the clock in her head counted down like a bomb. Stone worked beside her now, not asking permission, just handing her tools before she reached for them. Pushrod tube seals. Got it. Rocker arm assembly. Here. They worked in sync, two people who'd known each other less than a day, moving like they'd been partners for years. Marcus paced behind them, phone pressed to his ear. Vera, I need you here. Now. Pause. I don't care about your exam. This kid's going to disappear in 6 hours if we don't. Another pause. Thank you. He hung up and crouched beside Maya. How much longer? 2 hours if nothing goes wrong. And if something does, then I improvise. Marcus almost smiled. You really are Ellie's granddaughter. I keep hearing that. Still not sure if it's a compliment. It is. Trust me. The garage door opened. Vera rushed in, hair disheveled, folder clutched to her chest. I pulled the emergency order. Patterson got a judge to sign it at 4 this morning. 4 in the morning, Marcus. That's not standard procedure. Nothing about this is standard. No kidding. Vera spread papers across the nearest workbench. I called in every favor I had. Got us a hearing before Judge Williams at 7 tonight. If we can prove Maya has a stable placement here. We can't prove that. Marcus's voice was tight. My foster certification expired 3 years ago. I know. That's why I filed for emergency renewal 2 hours ago. That takes weeks. Usually. But Williams owes my father. And I may have mentioned that the alternative is shipping a 10-year-old orphan 200 miles from her grandmother's grave because a CPS supervisor has a personal grudge. Stone looked up. You told the judge about Patterson. I implied there were irregularities in the case. That's all I can do without proof. The letter. Maya's hands didn't stop working. My grandmother's letter. She says my mother was murdered. Vera went still. Where is this letter? Safe. Maya, if there's evidence of a crime, there's evidence of a secret. That's not the same thing. Maya tightened a bolt with more force than necessary. And until I know who I can trust, it stays with me. You can trust me. I don't know you. Fair enough. Vera softened her voice. But I need to know what we're dealing with. If Patterson has a personal stake in this, if he's connected to your mother's death, that changes everything. Maya finally stopped. Looked at Vera with eyes too old for her face. 20 years ago, my mother died in a fire. Everyone said it was an accident. My grandmother knew it wasn't. She spent the rest of her life hiding from whoever did it. And you think Patterson? I don't think anything yet. But he showed up at my grandmother's house the day after she died, before anyone else. And the first thing he did was try to get me as far away from here as possible. Vera and Marcus exchanged a look. That's not enough for a judge, Vera said carefully. But it might be enough to buy us time. How much time? Depends on how good Maya is at fixing motorcycles. Maya turned back to the engine. Then stop talking and let me work. The next hour passed in focused silence. Maya installed the cylinder heads, connected the oil lines, rebuilt the carburetor for the 3rd time, because the first 2 attempts didn't feel right. Stone watched her adjust the float level by feel alone. Your grandmother used to do that exact same thing. Wouldn't trust a gauge. Said her fingers knew better. She was right. Usually was. Maya connected the fuel line and stepped back. The engine was together. Not pretty, not yet, but complete. I need to test the electrical before we try to start it. I'll grab the multimeter. Stone walked away. Maya wiped her hands on a rag and looked at Marcus. Can I ask you something? Depends. The letter my grandmother left. She said to find the second one. Hidden where the heart beats. Marcus frowned. The heart beats. That's what she wrote. I don't know what it means. Could be the engine. The motor's the heart of a bike. I already searched every inch of that motor. Nothing. Then maybe it's not the bike's heart she was talking about. Maya looked at him. What do you mean? Before Marcus could answer, tires screeched outside. Everyone froze. The garage door flew open, and Diesel stormed in, followed by 2 men Maya didn't recognize. His face was twisted with rage. Where is she? Marcus stepped in front of Maya. Diesel, back off. You back off. Do you know what you've done? What you've brought down on all of us? I don't know what you're talking about. Patterson just called me. Told me exactly what that kid found in Ellie's bike. Told me what happens if it gets out. Maya's blood went cold. How does Patterson know what I found? Diesel laughed. Ugly. Bitter. Because I told him. 20 minutes ago. Stone moved forward. You son of a... Save it. Diesel held up a hand. I did what I had to do. This club survived a lot of things. but it won't survive what Ellie buried in that bike. What are you talking about? Marcus's voice was dangerous now. You really don't know all these years and you never figured it out. Figured what out? Diesel looked at Maya. Something flickered in his eyes. Guilt, maybe, or fear. Your grandmother didn't leave because she wanted a different life. She left because she found proof. Proof that someone in this club was working with the cartels, running drugs through our shop, using our rides as cover. That's impossible, Stone said. We would have known. Would you? It was one person. Smart, careful, had access to everything. Diesel's voice dropped. Ellie found the records, account numbers, names, dates. She was going to take it to the feds. Then why didn't she? Maya demanded. Because they got to Sarah first. The words hit like bullets. Maya couldn't breathe. What? Your mother found the records before Ellie could hide them. She didn't know what they meant, didn't know who was involved, so she asked the wrong person for help. Who? Diesel looked at Marcus, then at Stone, then back at Maya. Me. The garage went silent. I didn't know, Diesel said quickly. I swear to God I didn't know what would happen. I told one person, just one, and 3 days later, Sarah was dead. Who did you tell? Marcus's voice was barely recognizable. Patterson. Stone grabbed Diesel by the collar and slammed him against the wall. You killed her. You killed Ellie's daughter. I didn't kill anyone, I just talked to the wrong person. That's the same thing. Stone, stop. Maya's voice cut through the chaos, cold, steady. Let him go. Stone hesitated, then released Diesel, who slumped against the wall. Maya walked toward him, 10 years old, 50 pounds soaking wet, and somehow the most terrifying person in the room. Patterson was the one running drugs. He was the connection, the middleman. He handled the money, the logistics. We just thought he was CPS, just thought he was helping kids. Diesel laughed bitterly. He was helping himself. And when my grandmother found out, she ran, took you and disappeared, changed your names, moved across the state, spent 20 years hiding. Until she died. Until she died, and Patterson found out you existed. Maya turned to Marcus. Did you know? No. His voice cracked. Maya, I swear on everything I have I didn't know. Neither did I, Stone said quietly. Ellie never told us. Never explained why she left. She was protecting you. Maya understood now. If you didn't know, you couldn't be targets. And now, Vera asked, now that it's all coming out, now Patterson has to clean up loose ends. Maya looked at the clock. 3 hours until the hearing. Starting with me. Marcus grabbed his phone. I'm calling the cops. And telling them what? That a CPS supervisor killed someone 20 years ago, based on a letter from a dead woman and the confession of a man who just admitted to being an accessory. Then what do we do? Maya looked at the shovelhead. We finish the bike, we go to that hearing, and we make Patterson think he's won. How does that help? Because my grandmother didn't just hide one letter, she hid 2. Maya's voice hardened. And I think I know where the second one is. She grabbed her tools and walked back to the motorcycle. Where? Stone followed her. She said, where the heart beats. I thought she meant the engine, but that's not right. Then what? Maya reached under the seat, feeling along the frame. My grandmother had a saying, the heart of a bike isn't the engine's the muscle. The heart is what holds it all together. Her fingers found a seam, hidden, almost invisible. The frame. She grabbed a screwdriver and pried at the metal. A small panel popped loose, revealing a hollow space inside the frame tube. Inside was another envelope. Sealed. Yellowed with age. Maya pulled it out. Her hands were shaking. What is it? Marcus moved closer. Proof. Maya tore it open. Inside were photographs, documents, account records with names and numbers that meant nothing to her but would mean everything to a judge. And another letter. Maya, if you're reading this, you found both pieces. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you in person. I'm sorry for everything. The records are real. Patterson ran drugs through Iron Phoenix for 3 years. Your mother found out and he killed her. Made it look like an accident. I couldn't prove it. Couldn't go to the police without putting you in danger. So I hid the evidence and waited. Waited for you to be old enough, strong enough, smart enough to finish what I started. I know it's not fair. I know you deserved a normal life, but you're Ellie's granddaughter, and Ellie's granddaughter doesn't run. Take these records to Judge Williams. She's the only one I trusted. She'll know what to do. And Maya. When this is over, when Patterson is gone, stay with Marcus. He's a good man. The best I ever knew. I love you. Forever and always. Grandma E. Maya read it aloud. By the time she finished, Vera was already on her phone. Judge Williams. This is Vera Santos. I need to see you immediately. It's about Raymond Patterson. Diesel was backing toward the door. Where do you think you're going? Stone blocked his path. I told you everything. I helped. You helped get Sarah killed. That was 20 years ago. And you've been carrying it for 20 years, living with it, watching Maya's grandmother hide in fear because of what you did. Stone's voice was cold. You don't get to walk away. What are you going to do? Kill me? No. Maya walked toward him. The records were in her hand. You're going to testify. You're going to tell the judge everything you told us, and then you're going to live with what you did for the rest of your life. And if I refuse, then these records go public, and everyone finds out you were part of it. Diesel's face went pale. I wasn't part of the drugs. Try proving that when your name is all over Patterson's operation. It was a bluff. Maya had no idea if Diesel's name was in those records, but he didn't know that. Fine. He slumped against the wall. Fine, I'll testify. Good. Maya turned back to the bike. Now someone help me get this engine started. We've got 2 hours. The next 90 minutes were chaos. Stone and Maya worked on the motorcycle while Marcus coordinated with Vera and the judge. Diesel sat in the corner guarded by 2 club members who'd arrived when Marcus made calls. Maya connected the battery, checked the fuel flow, verified every connection one more time. Ready? Stone asked. No, but we're out of time. We're out of cyan. She climbed onto the seat. The bike was too big, her feet barely touched the ground. But her hands found the controls like they belonged there. She turned the key. The fuel pump hummed. She pulled in the clutch, hit the starter. The engine turned once, twice, 3 times. Nothing. Come on! Maya's voice was desperate now. Come on! She tried again. The starter cranked, but the engine wouldn't catch. Check the timing, Stone said. Timing's perfect. I triple-checked. Then what? Wait. Maya killed the power, climbed off, knelt beside the carburetor. Her hands found the choke cable, traced it to the connection point, loose. The vibration from testing had worked it free. She tightened it with her fingers. Climbed back on. One more time. Key on. Fuel pump. Clutch in. Starter. The engine turned once, twice, and then it roared to life. The sound filled the garage, deep, powerful, alive. 74 cubic inches of American iron waking up after 6 years of silence. Maya gave it throttle. The engine responded perfectly, settling into a rhythm that sounded like a heartbeat. Her grandmother's heartbeat. Stone was grinning. Marcus had his hand over his mouth. Even Diesel looked impressed. Maya sat there on her grandmother's bike, feeling the vibration through her whole body, and let herself smile for the first time in 3 weeks. She runs. She runs. Stone's voice was thick. Ellie would be proud. I know. Maya shut off the engine. Now let's go take down the man who killed my mother. The courthouse was 20 minutes away. They loaded the shovelhead into Marcus's truck, no time to ride it properly, not yet. Maya sat in the cab between Marcus and Stone, the envelope of evidence clutched to her chest. Vera called when they were halfway there. Patterson knows. He's at the courthouse. Brought a lawyer and 2 CPS agents. Is the judge still meeting us? She's waiting in chambers, but Maya Patterson's claiming you're a flight risk. He wants you taken into custody immediately. Can he do that? He's trying. Marcus pressed the accelerator harder. They arrived at 6:47. 13 minutes until the hearing. Patterson was waiting on the steps. He was tall, gray suit, friendly face, the kind of man who seemed trustworthy until you looked at his eyes. Maya Thompson. He smiled as she got out of the truck. We finally meet. We've already met. You came to my grandmother's house. I came to help. You came to make sure I didn't find what she hid. Patterson's smile flickered, just for a second. I don't know what you think you know. I know you killed my mother. Maya's voice carried across the courthouse steps. I know you ran drugs through Iron Phoenix. I know my grandmother spent 20 years hiding from you, and I know you're scared. That's quite an accusation from a 10-year-old. It's not an accusation. Maya held up the envelope. It's evidence. Patterson's face changed. The mask slipped just for a moment, revealing something cold underneath. Where did you get that? Where you couldn't find it. Hidden in a bike you forgot existed. Give it to me. No. Maya, I'm warning you. Warning me of what? That you'll kill me, like you killed my mother. People were watching now. Courthouse employees, lawyers, a security guard who'd stopped walking. Patterson lowered his voice. You don't understand what you're doing. Those records, they're not just about me. There are other people, powerful people, people who will hurt you to keep this quiet. Then let them come. You're a child. You don't know. I know my grandmother died hiding from you. I know my mother burned because she trusted the wrong person. I know I've been running my whole life without even knowing why. Maya stepped closer. I'm done running. Marcus moved to stand beside her, Stone on the other side. The hearing's in 10 minutes, Marcus said. Judge Williams is waiting. You can try to stop us, Patterson, but there are a lot of witnesses here. Patterson looked at the crowd, at the security guard, at the cameras mounted on the courthouse walls. His jaw tightened. This isn't over. No, Maya agreed. It's just beginning. She walked past him up the steps through the doors, and for the first time since her grandmother died, she wasn't afraid. Judge Williams was not what Maya expected. She was small, silver-haired, the kind of woman who looked like she should be baking cookies, not deciding the fate of a 10-year-old girl in a custody battle that had turned into a murder investigation. But her eyes told a different story. Sharp, missing nothing. The eyes of someone who had seen every lie humans could tell and had stopped being fooled decades ago. Sit down, Maya. Maya sat. Marcus and Stone flanked her. Vera stood to the side folder ready. Patterson entered a moment later with his lawyer, a tall man with an expensive suit and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Your Honor, this is highly irregular. My client has done nothing wrong. Then he has nothing to worry about. Judge Williams didn't look up from the papers in front of her. Sit down, Mr. Patterson. We have a lot to discuss. Patterson sat. His eyes found Maya's across the room. Cold, warning. She didn't look away. Let's start with the basics. Judge Williams finally raised her head. Maya Thompson, 10 years old. Orphaned 3 weeks ago when her grandmother, Eleanor Thompson, died of a heart attack. No living relatives. CPS recommended placement in Phoenix. Is that correct? That's correct, Your Honor, Patterson said smoothly. We have an excellent facility that specializes in... I wasn't asking you. The judge's voice cut like a blade. I was asking Ms. Santos. Vera stepped forward. That's the official version, Your Honor. But there are significant irregularities in this case that warrant investigation. What kind of irregularities? For starters, Mr. Patterson personally intervened in the placement process. He's a supervisor. He doesn't normally handle individual cases. Yet he appeared at Eleanor Thompson's home less than 24 hours after her death, before local CPS was even notified. Patterson's lawyer stood. My client was simply being thorough. Sit down. Judge Williams' tone left no room for argument. Continue, Ms. Santos. Additionally, Mr. Patterson pushed for an emergency transfer hearing at 4 o'clock this morning. He convinced a judge to sign the order without notifying Maya's legal representative or the parties involved. I was concerned for the child's safety, Patterson interjected. She was staying in a motorcycle garage with... You were concerned about what she might find. Maya's voice surprised everyone, including herself. That's why you wanted me gone before I could search my grandmother's bike. Judge Williams leaned forward. Explain. Maya pulled out the envelope. Her grandmother's last gift. My grandmother left me 2 letters and a set of documents. She hid them inside the motorcycle she left at Iron Phoenix Garage 6 years ago. She knew I would find them eventually. She knew I would come looking for answers. And what answers did you find? That my mother didn't die in an accident. Maya's voice was steady, but her hands trembled slightly. That she was murdered, and that the man who killed her is sitting in this room. Patterson was on his feet. This is outrageous. Your Honor, this child has been manipulated by... I said sit down. I will not sit down while I'm being accused of murder by a 10-year-old. Then you can stand while I have you removed from my courtroom. Judge Williams's voice dropped to ice. Your choice. Patterson sat. His face was red, but his eyes were calculating, searching for an exit. Show me what you have, the judge said to Maya. Maya handed over the envelope. Judge Williams spread the contents across her desk. Photographs, bank records, transaction logs, names and dates that meant nothing to Maya, but clearly meant something to the judge. Her face changed as she read. Where did you get these? Hidden in the frame of my grandmother's motorcycle. She welded a compartment inside the main tube. Been there for 6 years. And the letters? One was in the fuel tank, another in the frame. Maya paused. She wanted me to find them, when I was ready. Judge Williams looked at Patterson, then at the documents, then back at Patterson. Mr. Patterson, these records appear to show financial transactions between an offshore account in your name and several known cartel-affiliated businesses between 1999 and 2002. Those are fabricated, obviously fabricated. Are they? The judge held up a photograph. Because this looks like you standing outside a warehouse in Nogales with Miguel Fuentes. Fuentes was convicted of drug trafficking in 2004. Died in prison. Patterson's lawyer whispered something urgently. Patterson waved him off. That photograph proves nothing. I could have been anywhere. The date stamp says March 15, 2001. Your official calendar shows you at a conference in Denver that week. The judge's voice hardened. Care to explain? There must be some mistake. The only mistake was thinking you could bury this forever. Maya stood up. My grandmother kept records of everything, every transaction, every meeting, every lie. She was going to take it to the FBI, and then my mother found the files. Patterson's face was white now. You don't know what you're talking about. My mother found the files and she didn't know who to trust, so she asked someone she thought was a friend, and that friend told you. Maya. 3 days later, my mother was dead. Fire in the garage. Everyone said it was an accident. But it wasn't. Was it? Patterson said nothing. You killed her. You killed my mother to protect yourself. And then you spent 20 years looking for my grandmother, looking for the evidence she took. And when she finally died, you thought it was over. Maya's voice cracked, but she pushed through. You thought you were safe. Your Honor, this is speculation, fantasy. A grieving child inventing stories to I have a witness. Everyone turned. Diesel stepped through the door. He looked like he hadn't slept in days, like the weight of 20 years was finally crushing him. I'll testify, he said quietly. I'll tell you everything. Patterson's composure finally broke. You can't do this. After everything I've done for you. Done for me. Diesel laughed bitterly. You destroyed my life. You made me carry this for 20 years. I couldn't sleep, couldn't look at myself. Every time I saw that little girl's face, I saw Sarah burning. Shut up. No. I'm done shutting up. Diesel walked toward the judge's bench. I told Patterson about the files. I didn't know what they were, didn't know what he was involved in. I just thought I was helping. And then Sarah died. You have no proof. I have dates. I have conversations. I remember everything about that week because it's been playing in my head every single day since. Diesel's voice broke. I killed that girl. Not directly, but I killed her. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life paying for it. But you, he pointed at Patterson, you don't get to walk away. Not this time. Judge Williams picked up her phone. Get me Detective Morrison and contact the FBI field office. We have a situation. Patterson moved. Fast. Faster than anyone expected from a man his age. He grabbed Maya and pulled her in front of him before Marcus could react. Something cold pressed against her neck. A knife. Small. Sharp. The kind of thing you could hide in a suit pocket. Nobody moves. Stone was halfway out of his chair. Marcus had his hand on the gun he wasn't supposed to carry in a courthouse. Put her down. Marcus's voice was deadly calm. Put your weapons on the floor. All of you. There's no way out of this, Patterson. You kill her, you die. Simple math. Maybe I don't care anymore. Patterson's breath was hot against Maya's ear. Maybe I'm tired of running. Tired of covering tracks. 20 years of looking over my shoulder because one woman couldn't mind her own business. My grandmother was twice the person you'll ever be. Your grandmother was a fool. She could have taken the money. Could have looked the other way like everyone else. But no, she had to be righteous. Had to be the hero. He pressed the knife harder. And now her granddaughter gets to die for it. Let her go. Judge Williams' voice was surprisingly steady. Whatever happens next, it doesn't have to involve that child. It always involved the child. From the moment Ellie ran, it was always going to end like this. Maya's mind raced. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her head. When someone grabs you from behind, don't fight the grip. Fight the balance. Her body moved before her brain caught up. She went limp. Dead weight. Dropped straight down. Patterson wasn't expecting it. His grip slipped. The knife scraped her shoulder instead of her throat. And then Stone was there. 240 pounds of retired Marine hitting Patterson like a freight train. They crashed into the wall. The knife clattered away. Stone's hands found Patterson's throat. Stone, stop. Marcus was pulling him back. Stop. We need him alive. Stone hesitated. His fingers tightened, then released. Patterson slumped to the floor, gasping defeated. Maya stood up slowly. Her shoulder was bleeding not badly, but enough to hurt. She looked down at the man who had destroyed her family. Was it worth it? Her voice was quiet. All those years, all those lies, all those people you hurt. Was any of it worth it? Patterson looked up at her. For a moment, something human flickered in his eyes. Regret, maybe, or just exhaustion. You don't understand. The people I worked for, they don't let you walk away. Once you're in forever. My grandmother walked away. And look what it cost her. Husband dead, daughter dead, 20 years of hiding. He laughed bitterly. She didn't escape anything. She just delayed it. She escaped you. Maya crouched down to his level. She raised me, taught me everything she knew, made sure I could take care of myself when she was gone. And then she gave me the tools to bring you down. She stood up. That's not running. That's winning. 2 security guards burst through the door, followed by courthouse deputies. Get him out of here, Judge Williams ordered. And someone get this child medical attention. As they dragged Patterson away, he turned his head, found Maya's eyes one last time. This isn't over. The people I worked for, they'll come for you. They'll come for everyone you love. Let them come. Maya's voice didn't waver. I'll be ready. The door closed behind him. And just like that, 20 years of secrets came crashing down. The next 2 hours were chaos. FBI agents arrived. Statements were taken. Maya's shoulder was bandaged by a paramedic who kept asking if she was okay, if she needed anything, if there was someone she wanted to call. She wanted to call her grandmother. But that wasn't possible anymore. Instead, she sat in a plastic chair outside Judge Williams's chambers and waited. Marcus sat beside her. He hadn't left her side since Patterson was dragged away. You did good in there. I almost got killed. Almost. But you didn't. He paused. That move you pulled going limp like that. Where'd you learn that? Grandma. She taught me self-defense when I was 7. Said a girl should always know how to get out of a bad situation. Smart woman. The smartest. They sat in silence for a moment. Marcus. Yeah. What happens now? He didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was careful. That depends on a lot of things. The judge, CPS, what you want. What I want? Maya laughed softly. Nobody's asked me that since Grandma died. I'm asking. Maya looked at her hands, still stained with grease from the shovel head, still sore from 48 hours of work. I want to stay, at the garage, with you and Stone and everyone else. She paused. I want to learn how to rebuild bikes the way Grandma taught me. I want to visit her grave every Sunday. I want to feel like I belong somewhere. That's a lot of wants. Is it too much? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. No, he said finally. It's not too much at all. The door opened. Vera stepped out, face unreadable. The judge wants to see you. Both of you. Maya's heart hammered as she walked back into chambers. Judge Williams looked tired. The documents were spread across her desk alongside new papers Maya didn't recognize. Sit down. They sat. I've made several decisions this evening. First, Raymond Patterson is being held without bail pending federal charges. The FBI is taking over the investigation into his activities. Maya nodded. Second, the placement order for Phoenix has been vacated. You will not be transferred. Relief flooded through her so fast she felt dizzy. Third, and this is the complicated part. The judge folded her hands. You need a legal guardian, someone who can provide stable housing supervision and care. Marcus can. Mr. King's foster certification expired 3 years ago. The renewal process takes time. How much time? 6 to 8 weeks, minimum. Maya's stomach dropped. Then what happens to me? Normally, you'd be placed in temporary foster care until the paperwork clears. No. The word came out harder than Maya intended. I'm not going to some stranger's house. Not after everything. Let me finish. Judge Williams held up a hand. I said normally, but there's nothing normal about this case. She picked up one of the new documents. I've signed an emergency order granting Mr. King temporary guardianship pending certification renewal. It's unusual. My colleagues will probably give me hell for it. A small smile crossed her face. But given the circumstances, given what you've been through and what you accomplished tonight, I think unusual is warranted. Maya couldn't breathe. You mean? I mean you're going home with Mr. King, tonight. And if everything goes well over the next 2 months, that arrangement will become permanent. Maya turned to Marcus. He looked as shocked as she felt. You okay with this? She asked quietly. Are you? I asked first. Marcus looked at her for a long moment. This 10-year-old girl who had walked into his garage with nothing but her grandmother's tools and demanded a chance. Who had fixed a motorcycle that 3 mechanics couldn't touch? Who had faced down the man who killed her mother and never blinked? Ellie's granddaughter, through and through. "Yeah," he said finally. "I'm okay with this." Maya threw her arms around him before she could stop herself. Marcus stiffened just for a second. Then his arms came up around her, holding her tight. "Thank you," she whispered. "Don't thank me yet. You still have to finish that bike." "It's already running." "Running isn't finished. You've got a long way to go." Maya pulled back, wiping her eyes. "Then I better get started." They walked out of the courthouse at 10:47 p.m. The night air was cool against Maya's face. The stars were out more than she'd ever seen in the city where her grandmother raised her. Stone was waiting by the truck. He straightened when he saw them. "Well?" "She's coming home with us," Marcus said. Stone's face split into a grin. "About damn time." They loaded into the truck, Marcus driving Maya in the middle, Stone riding shotgun. Just like the drive over, but different. Everything was different now. "What happened to Diesel?" Maya asked. "Talking to the FBI. He's got a lot to answer for, but he's cooperating. Judge might go easy on him." "Do you think he deserves that?" Stone was quiet for a moment. "I think he's been punishing himself for 20 years. I think he'll keep punishing himself until the day he dies. Whether he deserves more than that." He shrugged. "That's not for me to decide." Maya thought about that, about guilt and redemption and the weight of carrying secrets. Grandma forgave him. What? In her letter. She said she forgave him, said he didn't know what would happen, said holding on to anger was like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Sounds like something Ellie would say. She said a lot of things. Maya's voice softened. She was usually right. The garage appeared ahead, its sign glowing in the darkness. Iron Phoenix. Home. They pulled into the lot. The shovel head was still in the back of the truck, strapped down and waiting. "Help me unload it," Maya said. They rolled the bike into the garage together, set it in the center of the floor under the best light. Maya stood back and looked at it. Her grandmother's bike, her grandmother's legacy, fixed by her own hands. "It still needs work," she said quietly. "Paint's shot. Chrome needs polishing. Seats got to be reupholstered. So we'll work on it." Marcus stood beside her. "Together." "You know how to restore a shovel head?" "No, but I know someone who does." He looked at her. "And I think she'd probably enjoy teaching an old man some new tricks." Maya smiled, a real smile, the first one in weeks. "Grandma always said you were a slow learner." She wasn't wrong. Stone laughed from across the garage. "Ain't that the truth?" They stood there together, the old biker, the retired Marine, and the 10-year-old girl who had changed everything, looking at a motorcycle that had been dead for 6 years and was now alive again. Just like Maya. Just like all of them. "It's late," Marcus said finally. "You should get some sleep. We can start fresh in the morning." "I'm not tired." "You've been awake for almost 3 days." "I know, but I'm not tired." Maya walked to her workstation, to her grandmother's tools still laid out in perfect order. "I want to work." "Work on what?" She picked up a polishing cloth and a can of chrome cleaner. "I want to make her shine." Marcus watched her for a moment. Then he grabbed a second cloth. "Show me what to do." They worked side by side through the night. Stone joined them after an hour. Then 2 more club members who'd heard what happened and wanted to help. By dawn, the shovel head gleamed. Maya stood back, exhausted hands black with polish, eyes burning from lack of sleep. But she was smiling. "She's beautiful." "She always was," Marcus said quietly. "Just needed someone to see it." Maya touched the tank where her grandmother's initials were carved. "I miss her." "I know." It doesn't go away, does it? The missing... No. Marcus's voice was thick. It doesn't go away. But it changes. Gets easier to carry. Especially when you've got people helping you hold it. Maya looked around the garage. At Stone, passed out on a chair in the corner. At the other members, scattered around sleeping where they fell. At Marcus, standing beside her, solid and real. Her grandmother's people. Her people now. Grandma said family isn't about blood. What's it about? Who shows up? Who stays? Who fights for you when you can't fight for yourself? Maya's voice was steady. She was right about that too. Marcus put his hand on her shoulder. Get some sleep, Maya. The bike's not going anywhere. Neither are we. Maya nodded. She walked toward the storeroom, toward the cot that was slowly becoming her bed. At the door, she turned back. Marcus. Yeah. Thank you. For giving me a chance. You earned it. Every bit of it. Still, thank you. She disappeared into the back. Marcus stood alone in the quiet garage looking at Ellie's bike. Ellie's tools. Ellie's granddaughter. He pulled out the photograph Maya had shown him 2 days ago. Him and Ellie young and foolish, thinking they'd live forever. I'll take care of her, he said quietly. I promise. The sun rose outside, spilling golden light through the windows. A new day, a new beginning. And somewhere Marcus could have sworn he heard Ellie laughing. 3 weeks changed everything. Maya woke up every morning at 6 before anyone else stirred. She'd walk to the garage in the half-light and sit with the shovel head, running her hands over the chrome she'd polished until it gleamed like mirrors. Her grandmother's bike. Her bike now. Marcus found her there on the 22nd day, coffee in hand, watching her trace the initials on the tank. You're going to wear those letters off if you keep doing that. I like touching them. Makes me feel like she's still here. She is. Marcus handed her a cup. Hot chocolate, not coffee. He'd learned her preferences fast. People don't disappear just because they die. They live on in the people they loved. That sounds like something from a greeting card. Your grandmother said it first. Take it up with her. Maya almost smiled. Almost. School starts Monday. I know. You nervous? No. She paused. Yes, maybe. That's 3 different answers. I don't know which one's true. Maya sipped her hot chocolate. I've never been to a real school. Grandma homeschooled me. Said regular schools didn't know what to do with kids like me. Kids like you. Kids who can rebuild a carburetor but can't sit still for 6 hours. Marcus laughed. She had a point. What if they don't like me? Then they're idiots, and you ignore them. Marcus. What? It's true. He sat down beside her. Look, school's going to be hard. New place, new people, new rules. You're going to feel like you don't fit in. That's normal. Did you feel like that? Every day of my life until I found this club. He gestured at the garage around them. Some people find their place early. Some people have to build it themselves. You're the second kind. How do you know? Because you walked into my garage at 10 years old and demanded I give you a chance. That's not someone who waits for the world to accept her. That's someone who makes the world accept her. Maya was quiet for a moment. What if I fail? Then you fail. And then you try again. And again. Until you don't fail anymore. Marcus stood up. That's how this works, Maya. That's how everything works. The garage door opened. Stone walked in, followed by a woman Maya had never seen before. She was tall, professional, carrying a briefcase that looked expensive. Maya's guard went up immediately. Who's that FBI? Marcus said quietly. They've been wanting to talk to you for 2 weeks. I've been putting them off. Why? Because you're 10 years old and you've been through enough, but they're not going away. And there are things they need to know. The woman approached. Her face was neutral, unreadable. Maya Thompson. Who's asking? Oh, Special Agent Rachel Torres, FBI. She didn't offer her hand. I need to ask you some questions about Raymond Patterson. I already told the judge everything. You told the judge about the evidence. I need to know about the people. Maya's stomach tightened. What people? Patterson didn't work alone. The cartel connections your grandmother documented, they're still active, still operating, and some of them are very interested in finding out what else she left behind. The words hit Maya like ice water. You're saying there are more of them. I'm saying Patterson was a middleman. There are people above him, people who've been watching this situation very carefully. Why are you telling me this? Because they know who you are, they know where you live, and they know you have information that could destroy them. Marcus stepped forward. Is that a threat? It's a warning. Agent Torres looked at him. The people Patterson worked for don't leave loose ends. Maya's grandmother spent 20 years hiding because she understood that. Now Maya's in the open, in the news, connected to a case that's making a lot of powerful people very nervous. So, what are you suggesting? Witness protection, new identity, new location, a chance to start over somewhere safe. No. Maya's voice was sharp, immediate. I'm not running. Maya. My grandmother ran for 20 years. She spent her whole life hiding, looking over her shoulder, never feeling safe. I'm not doing that. I won't. You might not have a choice. There's always a choice. Maya stood up, facing the agent. My grandmother could have given up the evidence, could have made a deal, but she didn't. She held on to it because she knew someday it would matter. Someday someone would be brave enough to use it. And you think that someone is you? I think I'm the only one left. Agent Torres studied her for a long moment. You're either very brave or very stupid. My grandmother was both. Worked out okay for her. Your grandmother is dead. Everyone dies. Maya's voice didn't waver. The question is what you do while you're alive. The garage went quiet. Then, unexpectedly, Agent Torres smiled. You really are Ellie's granddaughter. You knew her. I knew of her. When she first came to us before she disappeared, she was exactly like this. Stubborn, fearless, absolutely convinced she was right. Torres sat down on a nearby stool. She was right, by the way, about everything. We just couldn't prove it. You could have protected her. We tried. She wouldn't let us. Said she didn't trust anyone in the government, said she'd seen too many people get betrayed by the system they were trying to help. So she ran. She ran. And we lost track of her. Lost track of the evidence. Lost 20 years we could have spent taking these people down. Maya's hands clenched. That's not her fault. No, it's ours. We failed her. Failed your mother. Torres's voice softened. I don't want to fail you too. Then help me. Don't hide me, help me. Help you how? You said there are people above Patterson. People who are worried about what I know. Maya leaned forward. Let them worry. Let them make mistakes. Let them come after me. You want to be bait. I want to finish what my grandmother started. Stone made a sound from across the garage. Absolutely not. Stone? No. You're 10 years old. You don't get to volunteer yourself as bait for a cartel investigation. That's insane. I didn't ask for your permission. You don't need permission, you need protection, which is exactly what the FBI is offering. Protection that means leaving everything behind. Leaving you. Leaving Marcus. Leaving the only family I have left. Maya's voice cracked. I already lost my grandmother. I already lost my mother. I'm not losing anyone else. The garage went silent. Marcus hadn't spoken. He stood apart, watching Maya with an expression she couldn't read. Marcus. Her voice was small, uncertain. What do you think? He didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was heavy. I think your grandmother spent 20 years keeping you safe. I think she died hoping you'd have a normal life, a peaceful life. Peaceful? He paused. And I think she'd hate what you're proposing. She'd understand. Would she? She taught me to fight, to stand up for what's right, to never let fear make my decisions. Maya's eyes were burning. She didn't raise me to run. She raised you to survive. I can do both. Marcus looked at Agent Torres. What would this actually involve if we agreed to whatever Maya's suggesting? Controlled exposure. We put her in situations where the cartel might make contact, monitor everything, have teams ready to respond. And if something goes wrong, then we pull her out, immediately. That's a lot of ifs. Everything about this case is a lot of ifs. Torres stood up. Look, I'm not going to pretend this isn't dangerous. It is. But Maya's right about one thing: these people are going to come for her eventually, whether she's in witness protection or not. At least this way we're ready for them. Stone shook his head. This is crazy. You're talking about using a child as a weapon. I'm talking about giving a child a choice. Torres looked at Maya. Something your grandmother never had. The words hung in the air. Maya turned to Marcus. Please, let me do this. It's not my decision to make. Yes, it is. You're my guardian. You're... She stopped, swallowed. You're the closest thing I have to family. If you say no, I'll listen. I won't like it, but I'll listen. Marcus was quiet for a long time. If we do this, he said finally, we do it my way. The club stays involved. We know everything that's happening. And the second something feels wrong, we pull the plug. Agreed, Torres said. And Maya doesn't go anywhere alone. Ever. Someone's with her at all times. Also agreed. Marcus looked at Stone. You in? Stone's jaw was tight. You know I am, but I don't like it. None of us like it. Marcus turned back to Maya. You sure about this? No. Maya's voice was honest. But I'm sure about not running, and I'm sure about wanting this to end, for my grandmother, for my mother, for everyone they hurt. Then we do it together. Maya threw her arms around him. Marcus held her tight. Over her shoulder, he met Torres's eyes. When do we start? The first contact came 3 days later. Maya was at school her third day, still figuring out where everything was, when she noticed a car parked across the street. Black. Tinted windows. Engine running. She didn't react. Didn't even look twice. Just kept walking toward the entrance like she hadn't seen anything. But she texted Stone under her desk during first period. Black sedan. Hasn't moved. His response came immediately. We see it. Stay inside. Don't do anything. Maya put the phone away and tried to focus on her teacher explaining fractions. She already knew fractions. Her grandmother had taught her algebra when she was 8, but she sat there anyway, pretending to be normal, pretending she wasn't being watched by people who wanted her dead. At lunch, a girl sat down across from her. You're Maya, right? The motorcycle girl. Maya looked up. The girl was about her age. Bright eyes, curious expression. The what? Motorcycle girl. Everyone's talking about you. They say you fixed some legendary bike that nobody else could. Where'd you hear that? It's a small town. Everyone hears everything. The girl stuck out her hand. I'm Keisha. I live 2 blocks from the garage. Maya shook her hand cautiously. You know about Iron Phoenix? My dad used to ride with them, before he got married and my mom made him quit. Keisha grinned. She says motorcycles are death machines. He says she just doesn't understand freedom. Sounds like my grandmother. The one who died, I'm sorry about that. My grandma died last year. It sucks. Yeah. Maya's voice softened. It sucks. You want to sit with me and my friends? We're not cool or anything, but we're nice. Mostly. Maya looked across the cafeteria, saw the other kids watching her whispering. The new girl. The weird girl. The girl who lived with bikers. Then she looked at Keisha, who was just waiting, offering something simple and real. "Yeah," Maya said. "I'd like that." They talked for the rest of lunch. About school. About bikes. About Keisha's dad's old Sportster that was rusting in their garage. "He's been saying he'll fix it for 5 years," Keisha complained. "At this point, I don't think it's ever happening. I could look at it. Seriously. I've been working on bikes since I was 6. I could at least tell you what's wrong with it." Keisha's face lit up. "That would be amazing. My dad would flip. Can you come over this weekend?" "I'd have to ask Marcus." "The guy who runs the garage. Is it true he's your guardian now?" "Yeah, it's complicated." "Everything's complicated." Keisha shrugged. "But sometimes complicated is okay." Maya smiled. Her first real smile at school. "Yeah, sometimes it is." The bell rang. Lunch was over. Maya walked to her next class feeling something she hadn't felt in weeks. Hope. But when she got to her locker, there was a note inside. Plain paper, typed words. "Your grandmother thought she could hide. She was wrong. You can't hide either. But you can make a deal. We'll be in touch." Maya's blood went cold. She looked around. The hallway was full of kids laughing, talking, living their normal lives. Anyone could have put this here. Anyone. She pulled out her phone and took a picture of the note. Sent it to Torres. Response came in 30 seconds. "Don't touch it. We're sending someone." Maya closed her locker and walked to class on legs that felt like water. They were here, in her school, among her classmates, and they wanted to make a deal. The FBI swept her locker that afternoon, pulled security footage, interviewed staff. They found nothing. Whoever did this knew what they were doing, Torres said that evening at the garage. No fingerprints, no DNA. The note was printed on generic paper from any office supply store. So we're no closer to finding them. We know they can reach Maya. That's information. That's terrifying. It's both. Torres looked at Maya. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Maya." "I said I'm fine." Her voice was sharper than she intended. "I knew this would happen. That's the whole point. Get them to make contact. Figure out who they are." Getting a threatening note in your school locker wasn't part of the plan. "Then we adjust the plan." Marcus shook his head. "This is moving too fast. We need to pull back." "We can't pull back now. They made contact. That means we're getting somewhere." "Getting somewhere? They're threatening you." "They're scared." Maya looked at him. "That's what the note means. If they weren't scared, they wouldn't be trying to make a deal. They'd just..." She stopped. "Just what?" Stone asked. "Just do what they did to my mother." The garage went quiet. "They can't touch me," Maya continued. "Not directly. There's too much attention on this case. Too many eyes. So they're trying to negotiate. Trying to find out what I know and what I'm willing to keep quiet about." "And what are you willing to keep quiet about?" "Nothing." Maya's voice was steel. "They killed my mother. They destroyed my grandmother's life. They don't get to walk away from that." "Maya." "But they don't know that. They think everyone has a price. So let them make their offer. Let them show us who they are." Torres was nodding slowly. "She's right. This is exactly what we were hoping for. They're rattled. Desperate people make mistakes. And what if their mistake gets Maya killed? Then you fail me, like you failed my grandmother." Maya's words hung in the air. "But I don't think you will. I think you've spent 20 years trying to make this right. And I think you're not going to stop now." Torres met her eyes. "You're a lot like her. Eleanor. She had the same fire." "I had a good teacher." The second note came 4 days later. This time it was waiting in Maya's backpack when she got home from school. $50,000. Cash. and everything your grandmother hid. In return, we forget you exist." Maya didn't panic this time, just took a picture, sent it to Torres, and waited. But her hands were shaking. They'd gotten into her bag, at school, while she was surrounded by people. They could have done anything. Stone found her sitting in the garage at midnight, staring at the shovelhead. "You should be sleeping." "Can't." He sat down beside her. "Scared. Terrified." "Good. Good. Fear keeps you sharp, keeps you alive." He paused. "Your grandmother used to say that." "She said a lot of things." "She was usually right." Maya almost laughed. "That's becoming a theme." They sat in silence for a moment. Stone: "Yeah. Do you think I'm doing the right thing?" "I think you're doing a brave thing. That's not always the same as right." "Then what's the right thing?" "Hell if I know." He shrugged. "I've been doing wrong things my whole life. Only in the last few years have I started figuring out the difference." "What changed?" "Ellie, your grandmother. She saw something in me I couldn't see in myself. Made me want to be better." "She had that effect on people." "She did." Stone's voice was heavy. "I should have been there, when she died. Should have kept in touch." "She didn't blame you." "How do you know?" "Because she talked about you. All of you. She said Iron Phoenix was the closest thing to family she'd ever had. Said leaving was the hardest thing she'd ever done." "Then why did she do it?" "To protect me." Maya's voice was quiet. "Everything she did was to protect me. And now she's gone, and I'm trying to figure out how to protect myself." "You're not doing it alone." "I know. That's the only reason I'm not falling apart." Stone put his hand on her shoulder. Steady. Warm. "We're going to get through this. All of us. Together. Promise. Promise." Maya leaned against him, letting herself be small for just a moment. Tomorrow, she'd be brave again. But tonight, she just needed to not be alone. The third note came a week later. But this time, it wasn't in Maya's locker or her bag. It was pinned to the garage door with a hunting knife. "Last chance. Take the deal or take the consequences. You have 48 hours." Maya found it at 6 in the morning. She didn't scream, didn't cry. Just stood there looking at the knife, feeling something shift inside her. They were done playing games. And so was she. "I want to meet them." Torres nearly dropped her coffee. "Absolutely not. They gave us 48 hours. That's a deadline. Deadlines mean meetings." "Maya, we've been waiting for them to show themselves. This is it. This is our chance. This is a threat. Every contact has been a threat. That's how these people communicate." Maya's voice was calm. Too calm. "They want to meet, so let's meet." Marcus was pacing. "This is insane. We're not sending a 10-year-old to meet with cartel representatives." "Then send someone with me. Send everyone. But let's end this. It's too dangerous. Living is dangerous." Maya turned to face them. "Every day I wake up wondering if this is the day they stop sending notes and start sending bullets. Every day I go to school wondering if the person next to me is someone who wants me dead. That's not living. That's surviving. And I'm tired of just surviving." The garage was silent. "There's something else," Maya said quietly. "Something I haven't told anyone." Torres stepped forward. "What?" "The note in my backpack. It mentioned things. Specific things. About my grandmother's evidence. Things only someone who'd seen the documents would know." "You think there's a leak?" "I think someone in the investigation has been talking to them." Maya looked at Torres. "Someone on your side." The words landed like bombs. "That's a serious accusation." "It's the only explanation. The details in that note, account numbers, dates, names, they weren't in the public record. They weren't in my grandmother's letters. The only place they exist is in the evidence I handed over to you." Torres's face had gone pale. "I personally oversaw the chain of custody." "Then someone in your team is dirty. And until we figure out who, every plan we make is compromised." Marcus stopped pacing. "She's right. We don't know that." "Yes, we do." His voice was hard. "They've been one step ahead of us this whole time. They knew about the evidence before Maya found it. They knew about the hearing before it was scheduled. They knew exactly how to get to her at school." He looked at Torres. "Someone's feeding them information, and that someone has access to everything." Torres was quiet for a long moment. "I need to make some calls." "Make them carefully." Maya's voice was cold. "Because if the wrong person finds out we're suspicious, this whole thing falls apart." Torres nodded slowly. "You're right. Okay. Let me think." She walked outside, phone already in her hand. Stone watched her go. "You trust her?" "I don't know." Maya looked at the knife still embedded in the door. "I don't know who to trust anymore." "You trust us. You're different. Your family." She paused. "Right." Marcus moved to stand beside her. "Right. Always." Maya reached up and pulled the knife from the wood, turned it over in her hands, studied the blade. 48 hours. "We'll figure something out." "No." Maya's voice had changed, harder, older. "I'll figure something out. This is my fight. My grandmother's fight. It's time I started acting like it." She walked into the garage, knife still in her hand, and began to plan. 23 hours left on the deadline. Maya sat alone in the garage, surrounded by her grandmother's tools, staring at a plan she'd drawn on the back of an old invoice. It was crazy. Reckless. Exactly the kind of thing her grandmother would have done, which was exactly why it might work. "You're going to get yourself killed." Maya didn't turn around. She'd heard Stone's footsteps 5 seconds ago. "Maybe." "That's not a comfort. It's not supposed to be." She finally looked at him. "But I'm not running, and I'm not waiting for them to come to me." "So you're going to go to them. I'm going to make them think I'm coming to them." Maya pointed at the plan. "There's a difference." Stone moved closer, studying the rough sketch. His frown deepened. "This is insane. This is the only option." Maya stood up. "They have someone inside the FBI. That means every official plan is compromised before it starts. The only way to beat them is to do something they don't expect. And they won't expect a 10-year-old to set a trap. They'll expect a scared kid trying to make a deal. That's what I'm going to give them." She paused. "Until I don't." Marcus appeared in the doorway. He'd been listening. "Walk me through it." "Marcus, walk me through it." Maya took a breath. "I respond to their note. Say I want to meet. Alone." "Absolutely not." "Let me finish." Her voice was steady. "I say I want to meet alone. They'll agree because they think I'm desperate. They'll pick a location somewhere they control, and they'll show up thinking they have all the power. And then you and Stone, and whoever else we can trust, are already there, waiting, because we got there first." "How?" "We won't know the location until they tell you." "That's where Torres comes in." Maya pulled out her phone. "The leak is in her team. But Torres isn't the leak. I'm sure of that." "How can you be sure?" "Because she's been trying to catch these people for 20 years. The leak is someone newer. Someone who joined after my grandmother disappeared." Maya looked at Marcus. "Torres has a list of everyone who's had access to the evidence. 7 people. One of them is dirty. And you want to figure out which one?" "No. I want Torres to feed each of them different information. 7 different locations. 7 different times. Whichever one the cartel responds to, that's our leak." Stone's eyebrows rose. "That's actually smart. My grandmother taught me chess when I was 5. She said the best players don't react to their opponents. They make their opponents react to them." Marcus was quiet for a long moment. If this goes wrong, then I'll probably die. Maya's voice didn't waver. But if I do nothing, they'll come for me anyway. At least this way I choose the terms. You're 10 years old. You shouldn't have to choose anything. I know, but I do. So let me choose. The silence stretched between them. Then Marcus nodded. Call Torres. The plan took 6 hours to set up. Torres isolated each member of her team, giving them slightly different versions of Maya's deal location. One said an abandoned warehouse on 5th Street. Another said a parking garage downtown. A third said a desert meeting point 20 miles outside town. 7 locations. 7 potential traps. Now they waited. Maya sat in the back of a surveillance van watching screens that showed nothing but empty buildings and quiet streets. How long until we know? She asked. Could be hours, could be days. Torres was beside her, eyes fixed on the monitors. Depends on how quickly our leak communicates with their handlers. And if the leak doesn't take the bait, then we try something else. There is no something else. The deadline is in. Maya checked her watch. 14 hours. I know. So what happens if... Wait. Torres leaned forward. 5th Street. We've got movement. Maya's heart hammered as she watched a black SUV pull into the warehouse district. It circled once, twice, then parked in the shadows. 2 men got out, both armed, both scanning the area like they owned it. That's our answer. Torres was already on her radio. Agent Morrison is the leak. He's the only one who got the 5th Street location. What do we do now? Now we adapt. Torres looked at Maya. They think you're coming to 5th Street. What if you actually show up? I thought that was the plan. The plan was to find the leak. Now we have bigger fish to fry. Torres pointed at the screen. Those 2 are advanced scouts. The real players will show up for the actual meeting. If we can get them to commit, then you can take them all down at once. Exactly. Maya looked at Marcus, who'd been silent in the corner. Your call, he said quietly. I'll support whatever you decide. She turned back to the screen, watched the 2 men prowling through the shadows. Set up the meeting. I'm going in. They spent the next 4 hours preparing. Torres positioned teams at every exit. Stone and Marcus took positions on a rooftop overlooking the warehouse. Maya wore a wire so small it was invisible, sewn into the collar of her jacket. At 11 p.m., she walked into the warehouse alone. Her footsteps echoed in the empty space. The only light came from a single bulb hanging in the center, placed there by the cartel to control the environment. She stopped underneath it, waiting. You actually came. The voice came from the shadows, male, confident, amused. You gave me 48 hours. I'm early. A man stepped into the light, tall, Hispanic, expensive suit, the kind of person who was used to being obeyed. Maya Thompson, I've heard a lot about you. Then you know I don't scare easily. I know you're Eleanor's granddaughter. That's enough to concern me. He circled her slowly. Your grandmother caused us a great deal of trouble. She was good at that. She was. He stopped in front of her. But she's dead now, and you're just a child. So let's make this simple. You give us everything Eleanor hid, every document, every photograph, every piece of evidence, and we let you live. That's generous. We're reasonable people. Reasonable people don't kill mothers in front of their children. His expression flickered. Just for a second. I don't know what you're talking about. My mother, Sarah Thompson. You burned her alive 20 years ago because she found your files. Maya's voice was ice. You think I'm going to make a deal with the people who did that? I think you don't have a choice. Everyone has a choice. Not everyone, not you. He gestured, and 3 more men emerged from the shadows, armed, surrounding her. You have 2 options. Give us what we want and walk away, or refuse and don't walk away. Maya looked at the guns, at the men holding them, at the man in the expensive suit who thought he controlled everything. There's a third option, which is, you're under arrest. The warehouse exploded into chaos. Doors burst open. FBI agents poured in from every direction, shouting, gunfire, the sound of boots on concrete. Maya dropped to the ground as bullets flew over her head. Someone grabbed her stone and pulled her behind a concrete pillar. Stay down. I'm not going anywhere. The firefight lasted 90 seconds. When it was over, 2 cartel members were dead, 3 were in custody, and the man in the expensive suit was face down on the concrete with Torres's knee in his back. Victor Espinoza, you're under arrest for drug trafficking, money laundering, conspiracy to commit murder, and... Torres pulled his hands back roughly. About 30 other things I'll think of on the way to booking. You have no idea what you've done. Espinoza's voice was muffled against the floor. There are people above me. People who will be very interested in what you have to say. Torres stood up. Take him. Agents dragged Espinoza away. Maya watched him go, feeling something strange in her chest. It was over. 20 years of secrets. 20 years of running. Over. Marcus appeared beside her. You okay? I don't know. She was shaking now, the adrenaline wearing off. I thought I'd feel different. Different how? Happy. Relieved. Something. She looked at her hands. I just feel empty. Marcus knelt beside her. That's normal. You've been running on anger and fear for weeks. Now that it's over, you don't know what to do with yourself. What do I do? You go home, you sleep, you let yourself grieve. He put his hand on her shoulder. And tomorrow you start figuring out what you want your life to look like. That's it. That's everything. They walked out of the warehouse together. The night air was cool against Maya's face. She could hear sirens in the distance, see the flashing lights of FBI vehicles. Stone was waiting by the truck. He didn't say anything, just pulled her into a hug so tight she could barely breathe. You scared the hell out of me. Sorry. Don't be sorry. Just don't do it again. No promises. He laughed. Actually laughed. And Maya found herself laughing too. They drove home in silence. Maya sat in the middle, Stone on one side, Marcus on the other. She was asleep before they reached the garage. When she woke up, it was morning. She was in her bed, the cot that had slowly become hers over the past weeks. Someone had taken off her shoes and covered her with a blanket. She lay there for a long moment, listening to the sounds of the garage. Tools clanking, engines humming, voices she was starting to recognize. Home. She got up, pulled on her jacket, and walked out. The shovel head was waiting where she'd left it. Chrome gleaming. Engine silent, but ready. Marcus was at his workbench. He looked up when he heard her. Thought you'd sleep longer. Couldn't. She walked to the bike, ran her hand along the tank. Is it really over? The cartel's operations in Arizona are finished. Espinoza is talking, trying to cut a deal. The leak in Torres's team has been arrested. Marcus paused. It's as over as these things get. What about Patterson? Federal prison. Minimum 30 years. Marcus's voice was satisfied. He's not getting out. Maya nodded slowly. 20 years her grandmother had spent hiding from that man. Now, he was behind bars forever. I want to visit her grave. We can do that. Whenever you're ready. Now. I want to go now. Marcus grabbed his keys. They rode together, Marcus on his bike. Maya on the back, holding on tight. Stone followed behind. The cemetery was quiet. Morning sun filtered through the trees, casting long shadows across the grass. Eleanor Thompson's grave was simple. Just a stone with her name and dates. Nothing about the life she'd lived, the secrets she'd kept, the granddaughter she'd raised. Maya stood in front of it for a long time. I did it, Grandma. Her voice was barely a whisper. I finished what you started. Patterson's in prison. Espinoza's going to trial. The people who killed Mom, they're going to pay for what they did. She knelt down, placing her hand on the cold stone. I wish you were here. I wish I could tell you in person. I wish... Her voice broke. I wish a lot of things. Tears fell onto the grass. Maya didn't try to stop them. But I'm okay. I have Marcus and Stone in the club. I have a home. I have people who care about me. She took a shaky breath. You would have liked that. You always wanted me to have a family. She stayed there for a while longer, crying, talking, remembering. When she finally stood up, Marcus was waiting. Ready? Almost. Maya reached into her pocket and pulled out something small. A photograph her grandmother and her mother laughing together on a beach somewhere. I wanted to leave this with her. She placed the photo on the grave weighted down with a small stone. Now I'm ready. They walked back to the bikes together. Marcus. Yeah. The custody hearing. It's next week, right? Right. What happens if it doesn't go well? Marcus stopped walking, turned to face her. Then we appeal. And if that doesn't work, we appeal again. And we keep fighting until they understand that you belong with us. And if they never understand, then we find another way. His voice was fierce. Your family, Maya. That's not a legal status. It's a fact. And no court, no judge, no piece of paper is going to change that. Maya looked at him. At this man who'd been a stranger 5 weeks ago and was now the closest thing she had to a father. You really mean that? Every word. She hugged him, hard. Felt his arms come around her. Thank you. For everything. You don't have to thank me. Yes, I do. You gave me a chance when you didn't have to. You believed in me when you didn't have to. You... She stopped, swallowed. You chose me. Nobody ever did that before. Then everyone else was an idiot. Marcus pulled back, looking her in the eyes. You're the bravest, smartest, most stubborn kid I've ever met. If anything, I should be thanking you. For what? For reminding me what family means. The hearing was 5 days later. Maya wore a dress borrowed from Keisha, who'd become a real friend over the past weeks. She felt strange in it too, formal, too stiff. But Vera said it was important to look presentable. Judge Williams presided again. She looked at Maya with something like pride. We're here to finalize the guardianship of Maya Thompson. Mr. King, you're petitioning for permanent custody. Yes, Your Honor. And Maya, you consent to this arrangement. Yes, Your Honor. More than anything. I've reviewed the reports, the home study, the character references. The judge paused. I've also spoken with Agent Torres about Maya's role in the recent cartel investigation. Maya's stomach tightened. Normally, I'd have concerns about a child being involved in federal law enforcement operations. But from what I understand, Maya's involvement was her choice, and it directly led to the arrest of individuals responsible for crimes spanning 2 decades, including the murder of her own mother. The judge looked at her. Maya, I've been doing this job for 30 years. I've seen a lot of kids in a lot of bad situations. Most of them don't make it. They get lost in the system, get hurt by people who should protect them, give up before they ever have a chance. She leaned forward. You didn't give up. You walked into a motorcycle garage with nothing but your grandmother's tools and asked for a chance. And when you got that chance, you didn't just survive, you thrived. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. Your grandmother would be proud of you. I know I am. The judge picked up her gavel. Guardianship is granted. Maya Thompson is now officially in the custody of Marcus King. The gavel came down. It was done. Maya turned to Marcus, and for a moment neither of them moved. Then she was in his arms, crying, laughing, holding on like she'd never let go. We did it. You did it. His voice was thick. I just signed some papers. You did more than that. You know you did. Stone appeared beside them, grinning. "Congratulations, kid. You're officially stuck with us." "I wouldn't have it any other way." They walked out of the courthouse together. The sun was bright, the sky was clear, and for the first time since her grandmother died, Maya felt like she could breathe. 6 months later, Maya stood in the garage, hands black with grease, grinning at the engine she'd just rebuilt. Not the shovelhead that was finished, polished, perfect. This was a new project. A 1982 Ironhead that a customer had brought in, swearing it was beyond saving. Maya had saved it anyway. "That's clean work." Stone was looking over her shoulder. "Real clean." "Thanks. You're getting better. Fast. I have good teachers." He ruffled her hair, a gesture that would have annoyed her once, but now just felt like family. "Birthday's coming up." "I know. 11 years old. Getting ancient." "Shut up." He laughed and walked away. Maya turned back to the engine, ran her hands over the chrome. Remembered her grandmother's voice in her ear. Every bike has a story. Every engine has a voice. "Maya," Marcus called from across the garage. "You've got a visitor." She looked up. A girl was standing in the doorway, Keisha dressed in her school clothes, bouncing on her heels. "You ready?" "We're going to be late." 5 minutes. Maya wiped her hands on a rag. "I just need to finish." "You always need to finish something." Keisha rolled her eyes. "Come on, the science fair isn't going to wait." Maya glanced at the engine, then at her friend, then at Marcus, who was watching with an amused smile. "Go." He waved her off. "The bike will be here when you get back." "Promise?" "Promise." Maya grabbed her backpack, still heavy with tools always, and ran toward the door. At the threshold she paused, looked back at the garage, at the shovelhead gleaming in the corner, at Stone arguing with a customer, at Marcus watching her with something like fatherly pride. Her home, her family, her life. She thought about her grandmother, about her mother, about the 20 years of secrets that had led her here. And she smiled. "Coming," she called to Keisha. Then she ran out into the sunlight, ready for whatever came next. Because Maya Thompson didn't run from challenges. She fixed them. And that was exactly what her grandmother had raised her to do. 1 year later, the Arizona sun beat down on Iron Phoenix Garage as 30 motorcycles lined up in formation. Chrome gleamed, engines rumbled, riders waited. Maya sat on the shovelhead, her grandmother's bike, her bike now feeling the vibration through her whole body. She was still too small for it, feet barely reaching the pegs, but she'd grown. Stronger, taller, more sure of herself. Marcus pulled up beside her. "You ready for this?" "I was born ready." "That's what your grandmother used to say." "I know, she was usually right." He laughed, actually laughed. A sound Maya had learned to love over the past year. "Today's ride is special," he said. "You know that, right? Eleanor Thompson Memorial Ride, first annual. Yeah, I know. Every penny goes to the scholarship fund. Kids who age out of foster care want to learn mechanics." Marcus paused. "Your idea." "Grandma's idea. I just made it happen." "That's what she would have wanted." "I know." The signal came. Stone at the front raising his fist. 30 engines roared to life in unison. Maya twisted the throttle, feeling the shovelhead respond beneath her. Her grandmother's bike, her mother's legacy, her future. They rode out together. Iron Phoenix and friends, family and strangers, everyone united by the memory of a woman who had fought for what was right. Maya took her place in the formation, felt the wind in her face, heard the thunder of the pack around her. She thought about everything that had led to this moment. The fear, the pain, the loss, the discovery, the fighting, the healing. She thought about her grandmother's letters, about her mother's sacrifice, about Marcus and Stone, and everyone who had become her family. And she thought about the future. College, maybe? Or maybe running the garage someday. Or maybe something else entirely. It didn't matter. Whatever came next, she'd face it the same way she'd faced everything else. Head on. No fear, no backing down. Because that's what Thompsons did. That's what family did. The pack crested a hill, and the desert spread out before them, endless and beautiful and full of possibility. Maya opened the throttle. The shovel head roared. And Eleanor Thompson's granddaughter rode into the future she'd earned, surrounded by the family she'd built, carrying the legacy she'd fought to protect. Some people are born into family. Others have to fight for it. Maya Thompson was a fighter, and she was just getting started.